Hello everyone, this is Max Settings, and today I just wanted to do a quick 10-minute video or so on how to perhaps start a science victory game in Civilization 6. Now, even if you are not new to the game, I figured this might help those of you who are new, and also if you've been playing for a while but have not really had a chance to go for a scientific victory. Just some quick tips and tricks on how to achieve that in the early, mid, and a late game, particularly focusing on the early and mid game. So we are going to go ahead and load up a game I have been playing as Gilgamesh for a while, who not normally is used for a science victory due to his war cart, which originally has, I believe, 30 damage at the beginning of the game, making him especially apt at domination victories. But that being said, I decided around the mid game to go ahead and start going for a scientific victory, which I have not yet completed. So we will be looking at the civilization I've built so far, the decisions I've had to make along the way, and just shortly go over mainly and most importantly the things you need to start looking for early and mid game in order to achieve the most scientific points you can and continue that as long as you can. So now let's sit back and listen to Sean Bean lull us to sleep.
Choose your allies carefully, for there will be many vying for a piece of your strength.
Alright,
Venture forth.
goodbye Sean Bean. Alright, so just starting out, I know this looks like a complete mess, but what I want to focus on first is these three cities right here. Now again, I am playing as Gilgamesh, and my first city was Uruk, my second was Lagash, and my third was Ur. Now, when you first start out, obviously, as many of you who have played the game just even a little bit probably know, as compared to Civ 5, I believe now in Civ 6, you want to settle on rivers as often as possible. Now that is because it gives you +6 housing, and of course housing allows you to work more tiles around your city. Now, early game, what you're going to want to do with your first settler, and especially if you're going or thinking about a scientific victory, is you're going to want to look for jungle tiles or mountains. And that is because mountains and jungle tiles, I believe there might be one other bonus tile, but those two main ones. When you build a campus adjacent to those tiles, they give you bonuses to your science and all the buildings that come there. So the first tip is simply when you start, you don't need to, it's not like a domination game where we're going to try and spread out as quickly as possible. You do need to, you're going to need to think about that mid game, but early game, you're going to want to get 2 or 3 cities down, and you're going to want to make sure that if possible, you have, it's not the end of the world if you don't, but if possible, have some mountain ranges around your cities, even if they're close, because that is going to allow you to build these campuses, and then later in the mid game, as you research more scientific bonus buildings, you can build libraries, universities. As you can see, I have one for Uruk here next to this mountain tile, and for Lagash we have another one here, and that also has a library and university. And so your campuses are really important when it comes to choosing the tiles that give them bonuses. The second most important thing to think about with a scientific victory is, of course, and this might not seem obvious at first, but you're going to want to have a steady population growth throughout the game. Now we are on turn 274, I could be doing better, I am not a pro at this game, this is simply on Prince level just for demonstrative purposes, but if we look closely, you notice right off the bat when you're looking at these scientific buildings that go into your campuses and the sort of science bonuses that you receive, they are based heavily on the amount of citizens, not heavily, but you receive good bonuses for the amount of citizens in your city. So I'm not sure the exact amount, but it might be +1 per citizen, +2. So you're going to want to make sure that you keep your citizens happy. So do not neglect amenities like circuses and things like that. If your city is unhappy and you are in the mid game, this is not as important in the early game because of course there's going to be barbarians attacking you, civilizations are going to be messing with you, especially on high difficulties like deity and such. But you want to make sure that your citizens stay happy, and that will keep your cities growing at a steady rate and keep these population numbers up, especially into the mid and late game, which are going to give you more bonuses. And that goes on to my third point, and this is why I love science victories or a science-based Civ game so much, especially in Civ 6. We've talked about these two elements now, the tile placement and of course the population. Now, that is going to tie into the fact that as a tech-based civilization, you should at some point be ahead of most of the other civilizations that you're playing with in your goal should be, maybe not necessarily, you might not be ahead, but your goal should be to be ahead militarily, also ahead of the civilizations that are playing adjacent to you. So you can see in this game, I started with these three cities. This bugger got a little frosty with me. So what I did was, and again, this is just Prince level, so it's not too hard, but I took his cities over, and what this has allowed me to do, playing an almost domination style game up till now, I recently also just took over Japan, is it has allowed me to amass all these different cities, and in each of these cities, instead of having, you're going to be in situations where you simply will not have the settlers or the space available to create enough cities with enough population to give you a large scientific boost. So it seems counterintuitive. You think science victory, okay, I can play a short little like 5 city game. No, it really aids you to play a domination style game at a certain point if you have advanced enough militaristically, because you will be able to, and this is an early game thing, you want to buy, I'd say by turn 150, you should have decided whether you, or decided really at turn a little earlier than that, but you should have decided and taken over at least a capital or two of other civilizations, just because you get, if you can do that, and these are Egypt's old, that was Egypt's capital, I believe. I do not know how to say that, but now I've been able to build campuses here as well, and one of them already had a campus, and I am now receiving the bonus for the population from these two cities. And in any of these other cities which I captured, whenever I build, if I choose like this one right here, and let's see if I have any more up here. This actually already had a campus, so you can see by strategically engaging in domination style warfare, you can really boost the amount of population in your civilization, which increases exponentially the amount of scientific boost that you are generating at a given time. An interesting consequence of this is, and this is again why a scientific based civilization is so fun, is should you choose to, you may at some point decide, hey, I think I'm better set up now to go for a domination victory. You can even do this mid game, depending on how technologically advanced you are. And if we look at my world rankings right now, we can see that even though I began as I was considering a domination victory from the start, right? I'm leading in domination victory because I've taken over 2 capitals. I did that early to mid game. I'd say around turn 150. Japan was more recent. That was around turn 180. Again, not playing super quickly, just trying to play strategically and have fun. But because of that, I'm also leading in science. So if you focus on science, not only does it give you an advantage militaristically, but it allows you to play a little more around with the game mechanics in terms of the kind of victories you want to go for. The only thing it does exclude, obviously, um, is you really will not be focusing too much on faith unless you're doing deity level or something like that, and religion. That can help. There are some perks that can help in the mid to late game, but I generally only focus on culture and science for the most part. You have to focus on culture in this game. So every couple of science buildings you build, throw in a culture building, because this is going to give you your civics tree, which will occasionally allow, and this is another important point, this is probably the third most important thing, is you want envoys, right? So if you get envoys and you just keep generating them from certain civics tree perks, eventually what you can do with your city states is you can find the ones that are science based, throw 6 or 7 envoys at them, and right now, if I click on Seoul, I'm receiving +2 science in every campus district. That's every single one on the map. Again, capturing other cities helped me tremendously. I also received +2 from 3 envoys and +2 in the capital. So once you get up to a certain point, not only are you receiving all these bonuses down here, but you are getting an enormous boost from simply having campuses. Districts built. So it is definitely a good strategy to, in cities that if you capture other cities with high populations, you will want to build campuses next to mountain ranges or jungle tiles. In this case, I'm not sure. Let's see what we're doing as a plains. But if you can, capture cities that already have campuses built, and if they don't, go ahead and build them next to mountain ranges, because they will give you an enormous boost as they add up over time, and you end up with 10+ cities with, pretty decent populations in them. I have not won this game yet. Again, it is kind of taking an interesting turn because I was going for a domination victory first. I could still do that, but I realized that it might be a little bit of trouble to make my way over here and defeat Russia, who currently is pretty much on par with me in military strength. So right now I am about ready to, I'm pretty much committed to a scientific victory. I'm going to continue to build those campuses, universities, load them up with different buildings. Lastly, I might have said lastly already, but lastly, focus on that gold, okay? Because this game, Civ 6 is not like Civ 5. They want you to spend that money. So in the mid to late game, you should at some point start to have either 100 to 300 gold rolling in every turn. And what that allows you to do is when you take over a city or build a city, you can quickly build a district, or if the district's already there, you can start purchasing your universities and your libraries and get those bonuses as quickly as possible, because you have the money to just slam them in there and get ahead of the competition. And again, at any point you may choose to switch to a domination victory, because if you are doing this right, you will be ahead of many of the enemies around you. In this case, I have, let's take a look over here. I have an infantry corps, but specifically for destroying cities, I have the artillery corps, which does 90 bombard strength. That can take down the wall of a level 56 to level 65 city of Japan in probably 2 turns, and then I could have an infantryman roll in and it would be mine. So if I wanted to, I could continue to wreck Japan. That is not my goal right now. I may end up doing that just for funsies. We will see. If you all have any comments, please let me know. I am still getting used to the new gameplay in Civ 6, but I do believe that a scientific victory is one of the most enjoyable ones, as it allows you to not only diversify the kind of gameplay that you normally would have to really just, get a little nitty gritty if you're doing, say, religious victory. You can kind of have fun with all the different aspects of what the game has to offer. Also, as a new player, or even someone that's already been there, it's always good to begin to understand and not memorize, but just to kind of have an idea of where these technology trees and where these different technologies lead. So if you're doing another type of victory, even if you're not focusing on science, you are able to kind of plan out, okay, what kind of buildings do I need? Which ones are going to come down the road? Of course, this is here for you to just look at if you don't know, but the quicker you understand it, and the more intimately you understand the technology tree, the better your civilization is going to do in general. So I feel like technology is just one of those aspects of this game which you cannot neglect, and a victory in it is especially fun, because soon I'm going to get to start launching space shuttles and building nuclear weapons and things like that. So it's going to be extremely enjoyable. Leave comments down below if you like this video. This will be my first one being uploaded specifically for Civ 6. I also have videos I've recorded, not yet uploaded, for City Skylines, and also going to be doing some Battlefield 5 videos as well. Also have some PUBG videos that I need to edit and get up on YouTube. So let me know if you guys would like to see maybe a beginning, just starting out, the kind of strategies I use, starting out with a single settler for science victory, with any maybe a random civilization would be kind of fun. Just let me know in the comments, and if you think anything I said was absolutely stupid and bonkers and ridiculous and it didn't make any sense and that's just not how you do a science victory, hey, there's a million ways to play this game. I would love to hear about it. So thank you so much for watching. Throw me a like, subscribe. Let's keep this channel going, guys, and I will see you later.